Hello! It is I, Nerdcore64 here, to bring you a special video I like to call Spending Money I Don't Have So I Can Get this bad boy right here. This puppy. This awesome fight stick. Along with the game. It is a big mamma jamma, and out of the 5 arcade sticks I have to say this probably has the best quality by far. Before I open it up and all that other stuff, I'm going to compare it kind of to just a first glimpse of my other fight sticks. First and foremost, let's compare it to this. This is the Street Fighter 4 fight stick. I didn't like the red edition that they had, which was a little bit more expensive. I just didn't like the color, but pretty much just the same thing. This is pretty cool and all. One of my main complaints, two of my biggest complaints for this fight stick here, move all these cords out of the way, is this. For one, the start and select buttons are on the back. I hated that. I always hated about this this fight stick. Also, performing a lot of your special moves, the actual stick, the brace on the inside, it's like a little square joint. It doesn't go in a full circular motion. It goes in a square motion, which almost makes it kind of difficult to pull off certain moves. And I've even had a hard time sometimes blocking with this, just simply doing that, pushing back. It's not as responsive as I'd like to be. It's not a bad fight stick. I like it. Actually, there's another thing, third thing, and I just done that little tisk thing, that smacking thing that annoys me. I hate when I do that. As you can plainly see, USB cable. Don't like that too much. Moving on. Dang it, I did it again. That's so annoying. Oh my god. Okay. This thing right here, the Tekken 6 arcade stick. This is a lot better. Start and select buttons are where they should be. PlayStation button here. I mean, it's laid out in a really awesome way. And wireless. It does, well, kind of. It's wireless in the same way Guitar Hero controller is wireless. You have this little, it almost looks like a USB outlet thing. I don't have it with me right now, so it's not that important, but it looks like a little USB thing. It's not really anything special, but you can communicate between that and the controller and the little sensor. So I like it. It takes batteries, 2 AA's if I remember correctly. Sure enough, yeah. Nice little fight stick. Up until recently, this was my favorite. One of my favorites. Now, of course, this little beast here, the X arcade stick, is used for mainly PC games, but I also have the ports to plug into my PS3 and my PS2, and it's really nice. Very well made for the most part. They claim that this thing is practically bulletproof and is industrial made and doesn't show wear and tear and can age perfectly without any problems. Well, that's false advertising. See right here? There's fading on the edge here, bubbling. I mean, it's still pretty strong, but look at that. I never did, you know, just kind of bubbling up. A little nitpick of mine. But it's a really, really good fight stick. I really enjoy it when I play games on my PC. A bunch of MAME games and whatnot. It's really good. Especially love it when I'm playing like games, like beat 'em ups, like Ninja Turtles or something. I like to be a little cheap, and I map all the controls for all 4 players to just this, so I can control all 4 players. Yeah, it's a little cheap, but I mean, it just adds to a whole new experience, and it's not like I have visitors all the time. I could have someone I could play to and they could play to, but yeah, anyways, enough of that. But back to the main attraction. This bad boy right here, Mortal Kombat Fight stick. This is pretty awesome, and it has one of the most unique, I mean, this thing is a monster. Let's compare it. Let's compare it side by side to these fight sticks. Now let's, out of my console fight sticks, this is the largest. Of course, my tank stick, still by far the biggest, but not by much. Look at this. I mean, side by side, these things, you know, I mean, it's just bigger, and it's just industrial made. It's really nice. Now, one thing I wanted to show you that I think is a cool feature is this. For some odd reason, to me, it says, it's really shiny, but it says MK on it, and it has a little dragon symbol. To me, I don't know why, but this reminds me of a mailbox. I don't know why. It's really cool, but this I'm going to get to in a minute. But first, look at this padding. I mean, just a lot of memory padding, foam padding here. It's really nice. It'll easily lay on your lap with no problem. But now back to this little latch here. You can actually pull this. Found it a little hard to open. This is pretty heavy, but you can open it. Oh, sorry guys. There's a picture of my blanket. Here is the inside of this bad boy. And if you get a good look, it says Mortal Kombat. Look at that. That is just sweet. You can store your game in here, and it also, unfortunately, one of my gripes, also has a USB cable. Don't like that. Not really. Just because it's not wireless, but this thing's so huge I can kind of understand. But it would have been nice to make this wireless. Just I don't like wires. I despise them. I'm all for wireless controllers. Here's of course the game that's inside. And I gotta be very careful, because the last 2 times I tried shutting this, not once, but twice, I slammed my poor little finger into this thing, and it hurts like a mammoth hammer. But anyhow, and of course I have a bunch of downloadable content that came with this. Let me show you. This one is just the Combat Pass, and really it just helps activate all the online stuff. This one here is Avatar, all the little avatars you can have, and then the themes, which is pretty cool. I have on my PS3, and Noob Saibot or Sabbat, whichever one you prefer. Tomato, I really don't care. This is original costume, which I kind of prefer. It's pretty cool, you know. So there's that. I haven't really had much hands-on time. I was gonna, and I even bought a strategy guide. I was gonna buy the collector's edition, but I was running a little low on funds, and I just got through trading 2 games. That kind of reduced the price, you know, for store credit just to get this thing. It was a lot of money. But this is the tournament edition. They also had another collector's edition, which seemed tempting to me, but I'm sorry, I am a sucker for arcade sticks and arcade games. I'm sorry, but playing... Dang it, I done that little thing again. Sound like this little gerbil or something. God, it's annoying. Here, I'm gonna keep my camera on this. Show you something. Playing Mortal Kombat or any fighting game for that matter on your controller, especially PS3 controller, even the 360 controller, it sucks. I remember when I first got Street Fighter 4 way back about 2 or 3 years ago, and I was playing it on the controller and my thumb got so blistered. I had like this nasty little looking boil thing. It was pretty darn disgusting. So yeah, it doesn't take, you know, I mean, it just doesn't capture the full essence of, you know, a fighting game without an arcade stick. And I grew up in arcades, and so, you know, in my younger days, in my teenage years, playing fighting games, and those are some of the most funnest times. Whoa, that was close. Some of the most funnest times of my life was playing, you know, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and all these games in an arcade. And I'd like to recapture that one day when I become filthy rich and want to buy me a few arcade cabinets. But right now, this will do. Plus, done a little bit of playing around on this game, and it is awesome playing it on this bad boy right here. I mean, the picture is awesome. I mean, it's like almost a true arcade experience, if not better. I haven't played much of this game, but what I have played, I really enjoyed. I don't like the fact that they kind of map the fighting moves are kind of different. You know, that's taking a little bit of getting used to, some of the special moves and whatnot. But that's like a minor complaint. It's not really a complaint, really more. It's like a tiny nitpick. Can't talk. There's just a lot of good stuff about that game. I mean, there's just really, it's like 100% fan service. And unlike IGN, I watched their review. They're a bunch of morons. I don't know what they're talking about. Talking about the bosses are cheap. Of course they're cheap. It's a stinking Mortal Kombat game. I mean, but you know, and they're made cheap because, well, they wanted to keep people coming back and pumping quarters into the machines. And, but yeah, I mean, but I never really had a problem. I mean, sure, they got annoying fighting some of the bosses, but, you know, that's part of the charm about these games. It's like these idiots never played an NES game back in the day. The old school hardcore difficulty games. I mean, half these so-called gamers, and I use this term here in quotations, gamers or game reviewers, have such a silver spoon in their mouth. I mean, they're just so spoiled, and their graphic whores are more interested in presentation and everything else. And then he had the nerve to talk about this guy. He had the nerve to say that the costume design was stupid and looked horrible, and it looked outdated and so 90s. Well, this game goes back to the first 3 Mortal Kombats, maybe even first 4. I'm not quite sure because I haven't really got that far into the storyline. You do see Quan Chi, who is from 4, but so I don't know. Like you see some characters from 4 on some of the other later games in here, but yeah, that's the thing. This, but you know, pretty much what I'm trying to get back to is the first 3 Mortal Kombat games take place in the 90s, and seeing that this is going back to the 90s, or when the first Mortal Kombat tournament took place, well, that's called being air specific, or specific, not Pacific. I can't talk. Specific, but anywho, but I never had a problem with it, and apparently he's never read a comic book a day in his life, because if you think this is bad, I mean, try watching the X-Men or reading an X-Men comic or, you know, I mean, stuff like that. Tights, the whole 9 yards. It's not really a big deal. I thought the presentation and costume design was nice. I don't know, but anyway, the guy's a complete moron, and, you know, whatever, enough of him. But, oh, back to the arcade stick, and I'm going to say in closing, already running on the 15-minute mark here, rambling on. I really like it. Of course, the start buttons are here, select buttons, kind of small, but not too bad. Of course, PlayStation button, R1, R1 and L2. The button positioning on this is really kind of weird, but I think it's that way for a reason, just because of the layout of the game. It's pretty cool. Only thing is like this piano gloss over kind of thing. It's shiny, but if you can look real closely, you can already see some of my smudges on this thing. Yeah, there's a few smudges here and there. I mean, it picks up smudges real fast, so I'm going to be keeping this clean. But this is a really sharp fight stick. Really proud of it. I'm going to have a lot of fun. And speaking of which, I'm done talking. I'm ready to play this bad boy. So, guys, it's been real. Hope you enjoyed me rambling on for over 16 minutes. This is Nerdcore64 saying get nerd or get out!
Finish him!